you know the way? I know the way. You have to have Ebola to know the way.
Fuck you say to me, you little shit!
What you just Bjorn witnessed to was one of gaming's greatest hits, proximity chat. And what seems like a tiny, minuscule little feature for a game can be such an enormous and huge feature for the community. Don't believe me? Fair enough. Join me on this magical carpet ride of gaming, where we'll observe games with proximity chat and games without it, and how this electric feature will implement in these games and make the games better. So, come on, come. Yes, right here. I got a spot for you. Right here. You don't mind the Mountain Dew and Dorito stains, do you? Okay. Great. Let's go. So if you stop your screaming and take a look around, you'll see all these games that feature proximity chat, and some are survival games like Rust, and others are just VR games that are, you know, just kind of going, it's like an online dating VR where e-boys and the e-girls, you know, called VR chat. And we start with VR chat because it's the easiest way to take a look at what proximity chat is. Your voice is in another room, it's muffled. Next to you, clear as day, which is the perfect example of what proximity chat is. So when we dip our feet a little bit deeper, well, we kind of have an understanding of what we're looking at, right? Okay, let's move on. Rust is a survival game where you wake up and you got no clothes, but you got yourself a boulder. You use the boulder to get some supplies, yada yada yada. To me, it sounds like a normal Saturday morning. And the difference between this survival game and many others is that you get to verbally abuse anyone that really comes in your way. So, when you do, like you normally would, you know, in real life, talk shit to someone out in front of, so they're gonna kill you, probably. I don't know. I don't do that stuff. But that's the beauty of Rust's proximity chat. Because in most games, all you have to do to defend your honor as people come breaking in your base is /all, talk to everyone in the chat, and just hope for the best, right? And when you pull up that chat box, it makes your player go completely still, right? You're completely still, no movement, because you're using all your fingers to type on the keyboard instead of moving around, right? And so when you're typing out, please no attack with the worst kind of writing and spelling ever, it's because you're in a panic, you're in a heat, you're in the heat of the moment, and your greased up hot dog fingers can't slap the keys correctly because you're just freaking out. You're like, no, my 3 hours of work is gone. It's gonna be gone by 14-year-olds. They're gonna come in and destroy everything I own. So Rust completely gets rid of this problem by adding proximity chat. So while your base is getting exploded by 14-year-olds, you're sitting there pressing one key going, yeah, nice job, buddy. Nice try getting into my base. And then he replies with the most vulgar thing you've ever heard out of a 14-year-old's mouth. I didn't know those words when I was growing up. Trust me, they're bad. But the only issue with this game is that every time you eliminate someone, they always come back. And it's always the same thing. It's always the same words about my mom. And then I have to defend her every single time. And they just say the same stuff. Because they're so much smarter than me. They got the better jokes. They got the better things. They're so much better. They're 14. I get it. Okay, buddy. Go read the encyclopedia or something. Go do your homework. Instead of playing this video game. But it's just this endless cycle. It kind of just gets repetitive and boring after a while. And so that's what kind of separates it from battle royales. Everybody knows about battle royales nowadays. Grab some loot, be the last one alive. Easy. Bingo. Look at that. Number one. Victory royale. But what PubG and H1Z1 King that he'll have over all these top dogs of today, Fortnite, Warzone, and Apex, is the ability to communicate with your enemies in your general area, right? Pretty awesome. But the difference between this type of proximity chat and Rust is the odds of you seeing the person you eliminated again is almost minimal. In every game, there's going to be a new situation that arises, and most of the time, everything is pretty unique. And you would think that these battle royale games are way more competitive than games like Rust, where you can just respawn and come back in. It's not. People usually use proximity chat to just exploit features, whether it be a group of guys in a car and they blast past you and you're deja vu, or you see this dude in the middle of the street and you vaguely hear Michael Jackson in the distance. You get closer, and dude's moonwalking. Dude's moonwalking in the street. He's moonwalking in the street. You can't see that in Fortnite, can you? Now imagine this Squid Game, but all the contestants are 14-year-olds who can only convey how they feel with forbidden gamer words. That's Crab Game. First time I opened up this game, I probably played for 6 hours and had tears in my eyes for 6 hours. Because all these Bradens, Jadens, and Cadens, all they would do is say, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, sleepy frog, Joe Biden, Joe Biden, and bing chilling, bing chilling, bing chilling, bing chilling. And they would and with the occasional scream as if there's a gun to your head and you're actually dying. It was the funniest thing I've ever heard these Zoomers say. So we've talked a lot about the pros, and so let's talk about the cons. And to help me with the cons, I have our HR rep, Clifford Montgomery. Clifford, can you take it away?
Yes, of course. There is toxic words and phrases. There is teaming with other players while playing in solo. There's other things that kind of portray to how people look. It's kind of not nice when you say the not nice words. And there's like other things where when you go out in the game and then you say these words and then like there's bad things and there's more bad things.
Fortnite doesn't have proximity chat. And honestly, don't get me wrong, it shouldn't. Not every player should have the ability to turn on their mic and say something to the person next to them. That game gets heated, and there's different levels of ages that are playing the game. You know, some 45-year-old's gonna be screaming at some 12-year-old, and his mom is gonna hear that over the TV and go, Jimmy, what are you watching? What are you playing? Oh, are you talking to strangers again? And the kids go, Mom, no. She's like, oh, you can't play the game no more. The game, you can't play it, it's gone. So, to get around this problem, I've thought of a singular item that could completely change the game. Hear me out.
The megaphone.
Now, the basic Fortnite experience already makes me seethe with boiled rage, okay? But just thinking a gang of 14-year-olds wiping your whole squad and saying, goodbye, back to the lobby, and then hitting the Dougie as Goku? Oh my word. Although infuriating in the moment, a couple games down the line, this experience that you guys would have, you and your teammates, it would kind of bring you together, right? I mean, you can't knock the kids' creativity if they were to use this item, right? In Apex, there's not a lot of interactions you have with the enemy, okay? And that, which is good because not only does it limit the amount of disrespect, you know, limiting to only shooting your box after you get eliminated, or throwing like a hollow spray out, you just see a stupid little image that says, woo, I'm Pathfinder, I got guns, boo boo boo. But that's too safe, man. The game is hardcore and competitive. I mean, so is Fortnite, I guess, but Fortnite at least has emotes, right? And so to combat this, and to not completely take Fortnite's ideas of really cool emotes, I think the game should add proximity chat. Apex likes to do events for the new types of game modes and whatnot, right? So imagine this. It's a new game mode. Comms destroyed, or some kind of comm thing. Anyways, you're in the ship, you're flying over, comms normal, nothing new, right? You jump out of the ship, and the closer and closer you get to the ground, there's this glitch effect. This slight glitch effect. You're like, ah, that's kind of weird. Yeah, I've never noticed that before. You hit the ground, and you're like, okay, everything's normal, right? And as you're looting, you hear,
He's coming for you.
you're like, what? What is that? And then you hear a bloodhound ult, and the next thing that comes out of your mind is, run, we gotta go! But that's the kind of experience I think would give the game some kind of life. Now, would toxicity rise? Absolutely. Apex is a very toxic game, because people are good at it, and people are bad. And the people who are bad get really mad at the people who are good. Me, a guy who's bad at it, gets furious. Absolutely furious when I get dogged on by a 32-year-old who just came home from work. I get it. What game has the most toxic fan base? That's right, Five Nights at Freddy's. But they don't have a multiplayer game. So, I went to number 2. Call of Duty. And so I thought, damn, Warzone 1 would have had a great time with proximity chat. Now obviously they didn't add it, but Warzone 2 is taking the advantage. But I think with Warzone taking the initiative to have the cojones to put in proximity chat allows players to really express themselves. Although sometimes they'll be crude and rude and crass, I think it'll give players an opportunity to stand up for themselves once and for all. No more! No more will they get camped. No more will they go down without saying a damn word. They're gonna confront you. They're gonna confront you, and they're gonna confront you good. And you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna be sitting there as I knock you out, and I'm gonna be like this.